The mind of our soul. Okay. For as the eyes of bats are to the light that follows the dawn of day, so also is the mind of our soul to those things which above all are naturally the most splendid. That shit's beautiful. That shit's beautiful right there. It's anyone who has knowledge wants more, and the ones who we see not pursuing more, it's like a fruit left on the vine too long, past season. It becomes overripe, too sweet. Most true is that which is a cause to posterior natures of their being true. The sun is light-bearing and light-bestowing, and that energy in the sun is truer than the sun itself, because there's millions of stars. And what we see and what we perceive is a fraction of the picture. That sounds corny, and it sounds played out, but it's true. Our senses eliminate most everything that comes in, and we're left with one piece of the puzzle at a time, left to decipher the rest. Is it necessary that the first principles of things always existing should always be most true? For not sometimes are they true, neither is anything the cause of being to those, but those are the causes of being in other things. The idea of truth causes the truth to come out of someone. When someone wants to reveal the truth, it's because the truth exists outside of them. And it's almost like if they can say the honest words, they can catch the truth. And they can attain honesty. Because the cause of truth can't be changed in one's head. We can't. You can't change. You can change the word for night, but you can't change the meaning of dusk. Here he talks about how you can't progress downward to proceed on to infinity. That which is last be a thing of this sort. Well, there will not be a progression to infinity. But if there is not such a thing, I mean that which is last, the final cause will have no existence. You can only progress to infinity because that which is last has to exist. That's what I gather. It's my first time reading the Metaphysics, but I think that we take for granted that we're small, and we start small, and our growth is internal despite external changes or crutches or vices that support us. The progress needs to be inside, because infinity is still where we're headed, and that's unstoppable. And what I gather from the beginning of this is that we can't reduce universals to single concepts or single numbers or single words or theories or an element. And we know these things now. We see this now, that the further you look at elements, the less we seem to know what the universe is actually constructed of. The actual physical substrate is still quite perplexing. And we're no better off than we started, despite knowing infinitely more. And I see a problem with that, because when we're only going one direction, we're only headed towards infinity. We're only headed towards whatever the universe decides. That progress needs to be witnessed. It needs to be observed. It's not possible to even understand anything before we come to individual things. We need a point. We need a point to begin. To begin, a point begins a line. A line can create a space. And then in those 3 dimensions, we exist. And an individual thing is where we start. An individual grasp on reality. Although this reality is complicated to fully pin down, we can touch things, grab things, move things. And that may be the best that our life gives us. And so, it's not possible to understand anything without individual things. What does he say next? Scientific knowledge has no existence in this case. Replace scientific knowledge with anything. It's not possible to understand anything before we come to individual things. And fundamental knowledge has no existence in this case. You have to walk before you crawl. We set out a path in our lives that involves hundreds of steps and maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we propel ourselves into a vortex that ends at a spot so far down the line that we find it's hard to change. But we made decisions before we knew individual things. We need to ground ourselves in existence first before we move forward into the chaos. You need to have a skill set, experience of a singular, as we said last time. And through the singular, go so far in that you see the universal. When you see the universal, develop a principle. And then you have knowledge of yourself. But some persons indeed so not admit those making assertions, unless one speaks with mathematical precisions. But others do not approve of what is said, unless they express themselves by means of an exemplar. And others think it is right to adduce a poet as a witness. You know, so they always gotta, let me run it by this person, you know. I got a real untrustworthy friend that is ultimately the last person who I ask for advice. So I'll run it by him so I can for sure not take it, because it sounds about right. We know these people. We know these people. In that of philosophic discourse, precision seems to be a thing to some persons that is a liberal. It doesn't it doesn't contribute, or no, not contribute. Oh, you know the word. Spread, you know? It doesn't spread evenly, you know? It ain't no chunky peanut butter philosophic discourses, you know? And understanding is precision. So it seems. And then for perhaps the whole of nature involves matter. Therefore, first we must investigate what nature is. What is nature? That's a goddamn good question, Aristotle, because 2,000 years later we're still asking it, you know? That whole double slit experiment really fucked things up. Einstein blew shit up. What is nature? We harnessed the power of sun. We've investigated what nature is, and we still don't understand the general dynamic. We get it, but we operate we're built to operate as characters in a game in which we understand the engine, yet can't make any changes. That's how I'll put it. In this way, it'll be evident about what only natural science is conversant. I'm pretty sure that means, like, I actually have a dictionary here. Conversant. Having knowledge and experience, that's what I thought. Aristotle would be pissed these days. There's a few too many sciences in the universities for everyone's liking. and whether it is the province of one science or of many to speculate into causes and first principles. That's metaphysics. Physics is, I can make the rocket go from this to that. Quantum physics is metaphysics. Oh, it's more than that. Oh, metaphysics, more than, greater than, above, I think. Meta, you know? You change the meta within the game. Within the physics engine of the game. You change the meta. You understand the system. And you move within it. That takes knowledge. One last time, because I would like to remember this one to head. It is not even possible to understand anything before we come to individual things. We come to individual things, becoming individual people, one individual moment at a time. If you like the video, hit like and subscribe, and let's grow together, boys and girls, ladies and leprechauns.